What is this background?
Christmas time is here. Girl, listen. These country roads, I got snowed in.
These country roads!
So I had no choice but to start up a roaring fire.
Oh my God.
I've got my little tea. And I've got my little cabin.
Look, today, surprise, it's the Dish Sober Edition. I'm drinking what, you may ask, tea.
Oh my God.
What kind of tea?
The urge to celebrate when both of us are not drinking Uncovered Dish is really,
I know,
frankly, something that leads me to examine my habits and my choices.
Girl, Tuesday night is Pinot night, and that is the hill I will die on. What kind of tea are you drinking?
I'm drinking Smooth Move.
I do like Smooth Move.
You know about Miss Smooth Move? She's doing everything that it purports to do for me on the box.
Really? Mm-hmm. You know what? She doesn't do that as much for me, but I do like the flavors.
She's changed.
Yeah.
She's changed.
She's changed me from the inside out. I'm doing an old-fashioned green tea.
Nice. Ooh. Very nice. Very herbal.
Herbs.
Mm-hmm.
I said herbs for like the first 20 years of my life, by the way, instead of herbs. And no one corrected me.
Yeah. The only thing I love better than how you say herbs is how you say room.
Oh, fuck off. This already? Okay, so I did not discover this until I got to college. And I'm like at college, and this douchebag, such a pretty funny guy, Adam, was like, you say rum. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to my rum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I love it. I love it.
I do say the L in salmon.
Salmon. I think it might be a Buffalo thing. I'm not sure. Do other people from Buffalo say rum?
Yes. So we shorten our O's. So that's like a regional thing.
Mm-hmm.
We shorten our long O's. But everybody kind of hits everybody a little bit different. But when I was called out about it in college, I realized when I went home how many people did it.
You know what's funny is I feel like from New York City, you lengthen your O's and you're like, New York, get me a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Like it's just different, like regional.
Not us in Buffalo. We're like, we will not be New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Buffalo's like very politically anti-New York. They're like, any way a New Yorker votes, they vote the opposite. Like they're just such little pouty assholes.
That's funny.
So it totally makes sense that we're the opposite.
So contrary.
Girl, it's like really, this background is so fucking hilarious.
It's doing so much.
Here's what I love about it. It can't pick a theme. It is like Amish energy.
Yeah, I know.
With like the candle.
Yeah.
But then there's a lantern and a glass of wine and maybe a Bible.
Yeah, let me bring you into this, dear viewers, because you can't see the whole thing unless I go on dish cam. Here's the full fantasy.
Go on dish cam, yes!
Tonight's dish is this absurd video background that I found on the internet, and I wish I had. It doesn't key very well because I don't have a green screen, so sometimes my fingers get cut off. But yeah, I mean, look at her. We've got a nice little shelf where I do my journaling, possibly my spell work. I mean, it looks sort of like a witch's hut, which I stan.
That actually makes more sense. I just feel like it can't make up its mind.
A tiny glass of wine. There we go. Tiny wine.
Yes.
Right there. And then you've got this window where my favorite thing about what's going on outside is there's a snowstorm that also has like thunder and lightning. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yes. It's just generally storming.
Yeah, there's thunder and lightning going on, and this fire looks like it's gonna burn everything down. Like it's going way too intensely over here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Yeah. Can you turn that down, please? They don't listen to me anymore.
Cut it in post.
Yeah, I've got five strapping gentlemen here with me in rural Maine.
Which, like you do.
Yeah.
Is there, so next to the wine glass.
Uh-huh.
What is next to it in the shadow?
Oh, I think that's an ice bucket. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a knife handle.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a knife handle attached to an ice bucket. So, let me just bring it right to the theme, girl. If you want to take it to the next level with Eileen Galvin, you book a remote cabin in Maine during a snowstorm.
Here we go. Oh, I thought you were going to bring up Hocking Hills.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, that's the real tea. The real tea is you take me glamping in the Hocking Hills. And nobody
outside of Ohio understands Hocking Hills, and I moved there and lived there for 10 years, and I also don't understand Hocking Hills.
I'm taking us back on main chat here, the main view. So I'm a glamper. I need a kitchen. I need lights. I need electricity. I need Wi-Fi. I need a hot tub.
You do need a hot tub.
I need to perch a little Bluetooth speaker on the edge of like the gazebo where the hot tub is, and just take the lid off and watch the steam rise into the evening air, and then just slowly take my robe off for no one but me. Right? I'm doing Pamela Anderson cup the breasts with my arms. But like the squirrels are like, what is she doing? You know what I mean? It's just for me. I take it to the next level with myself.
I love this. You know what it is? I want to like book a Hocking Hills cabin, and I want to look at someone and go, here's what I need. I need a kitchen that isn't fully functional. Mm-hmm. I want it to have 2 or 3 knives, and I want them to be completely dull. I want to have a cookie pan with an active hole in the middle of it and rust. And I don't want any aluminum foil or anything I can use to fix it. Give me 3 fucking cups, a coffee machine that is piston, the most uncomfortable beds in the world, and a jacuzzi that is going to give you E. coli. That is Hocking Hills. It is a hill I will die on.
Oh.
And every lesbian in Ohio baby, let me take you to Hocking Hills. And I'm like, I can get E. coli on my own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's an icon. She's a diva. And she is the moment. Now, come on now. Hocking Hills. If you're not getting E. coli in a hot tub, are you really in Hocking Hills? I think.
Are you really living? Are you really queer in Columbus? So,
are you really living?
We are talking tonight not about
vacation spots, but in fact
antibiotic resistant bacteria, but
yeah.
A different kind of resistance, which is taking things to the next level. And I really want to talk about this because, you know,
I wish we
keep things casual.
Yeah.
You know, in relationships,
I mean,
we go up and we go down.
Look at me. That's nice for some people.
I mean, we're going into Scorpio season. I am very clear that nothing about my life is casual.
Yeah, we're going to your time of year, girl. Scorpios get in the chat. By the way, I just want to pause briefly because I have this view from the early days of Covered Dish that shows both of our full backgrounds. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are both giving 2 very distinct and intense environments for you tonight. Like, you look like LinkedIn.org. You look like you run everything. You have these 2 perfectly coordinated vases behind you. This is the best background. And you're in a, like, what I'm going to believe is to the floor, black tactical turtleneck with, like, very large gold power hoops. And meanwhile, I'm, like, hexing the straights out in the woods.
Oh my God, this is so funny.
So you know how do you take it to the next level? Mama, how does the fish swim in the water? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How does Serena Williams play tennis?
I am actually not as good. So this is actually something with someone I talked to briefly in Europe that story is for another day. I will remain nameless. And why I can't go to the city of Amsterdam. But
We've all got a story.
We've all got a story. Here's the thing. I'm the kind of person that, like, I will admit it's really sometimes difficult for me. Like, casual friendships and relationships are really difficult for me because I don't trust until we go deep. So, like, my depth that is my standard for what I need is much deeper than others. So what I've noticed is with other people, sometimes I bamboozle because I don't realize how deep we're going, and I love it. And I'm like, oh my God, I like this. But for other people, it feels like it's a deviation from their norm. Mm-hmm. And I realized from you, because you're like much more self-aware about the levels you move through in a relationship and you have the conversation.
That's very kind.
I think sometimes it's really hard because what I feel like is not a significant ramp up is a significant ramp up for other people. Does that make sense?
Say more about what does the ramp up moment look like? That's what I'm trying to imagine.
I'll be like, oh, we're friends, or we're trying to date, or whatever, and they'll be like, no, we're in love, and it's happening. And I'm like, okay, like, is it because no one's like listened to you before? Because like I've had that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
yeah.
what? And then I'm like, oh, okay, so like that is on me. That I get because I get this attention and blah blah blah, and I have to check in with myself on that because I hate when people are like, oh, these are the kind of people that just like me. No, those are the kind of people I'm attracting, and it's something I'm putting out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, I think.
But it happened a lot more in my early 20s, and I caught on.
Yeah, I think the other extreme is me loading up the PowerPoint slide deck at the like when I meet somebody and going, listen, here's what's gonna happen here. I know who you are, and I know who I am, and I know who we are,
right?
And I know what this is, right?
Right.
Like in my 20s, I would be like, I am not interested in a traditional relationship. I would like to talk for exactly 3 dates where we have dinner, and then on the 4th date we can talk about making out and possibly doing other things. But like it's very scheduled and it's not realistic. Like that's how I deal with the threat of intimacy or the fear of intimacy. Is I like to feel like everything is scheduled and anticipated when in fact it's not. Mm-hmm. That's not how that works. So I'm like, wait a second, you're skipping ahead here. You're on page 20 and we're still on page 18. But in reality, it's like they're doing what normal people do, which is navigate these things organically. And I'm like playing Chutes and Ladders.
Oh my God. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that metaphor. I think that was it right in the, like, not to Goldilocks it, right? But like some level setting of expectations. And then a conversation when those expectations change.
Oh, I hate that. I hate when expectations change. I do. I hate it when expectations change because then I have to rework the whole PowerPoint. Like we're not going from page 2 to 3. We're now rewriting the manual. And I'll say I've gotten a little bit better at that over time. Like it doesn't have to be exactly as structured as it used to be for me. Like, I'm not like, you ruined my flowchart. I think I'm more confident in myself now, where I don't have to have it rehearsed. Right. Now I'm like, I can deal with this in the moment. It's going to be okay. But sometimes people really throw curveballs at you.
I think it truly is so interesting. You know, I am really bad conversation when the expectations change. I was really bad about it when levels changed. Mm-hmm. And I would really just kind of bury everything in my 20s, you know, and I'm getting better about it now being like, hey, this is a changed circumstance.
Yeah.
Remember one time I like blew up at a friend and I looked, and for justified reasons, this was like 4 years ago. And I looked back and I was like, actually, like everything in life was like less in control. And that was just the person that got hit with it. Our relationship wasn't healthy anyways. But like, I didn't have the self-awareness that my other relationships were unraveling. Mm-hmm. And that is what led to a freak out, right? Of a legitimate thing, but it was just exploded because of that. Yeah. You know, so I don't know. It's really hard for me. I'm getting better at kind of the stepping back, but I do, you know, if I need to like go back down a level, but do you think things are ever if you go for more serious to more like, what do you think you can go back?
Yeah. Are things ever the same? No, I don't think so. I mean, like to use COVID as an example, I remember it's really painful now to look at pictures from 2019 because they're from this time before everything went down, and it feels like it's a parallel universe that I used to live in that I wish I could go back to. And it's not the same. It's never going to be the same. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I can be hopeful about who I'm becoming and what is coming. Like that there's something worth living ahead, you know. But seriously, like I'm trying to, as my mother would say, step into a new attitude. I love the becoming your mother. It's happening. So you're
say it again.
I'm going to step into a new attitude.
Because it's so delightfully such a platitude.
Yeah, but
she was like a little kid.
Yeah, she did. But what I like about it is that it's proactive. And it's like you do have some amount of control over the situation. Life is not just happening to you. You are an active participant. And I appreciate that aspect of it. But can you go back, and are things ever the same? No.
I really like that.
I think you can change in a way that feels familiar to the way things were before, but it's going to be something else. You're breaking up a little bit, but it's okay. We're navigating through it. Yeah. It's doing the thing that you were saying before.
No!
Yeah, before
Is it better now?
Well, your visual is coming in and out, but it sounds your audio is still in real time. It's very jumpy. Yeah, it's kind of like The Grudge.
It's so weird.
No, you know what it is? It's Samara in The Ring.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Better with my video off for a second.
Yeah, your audio seems to be more continuous.
The word you're looking for is stable.
Stable. There we go. Listen, I'm thinking about this smooth move.
Speaking of stable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stable GI tract. Please welcome to the stage.
Is it any
GI
better
tract. Now? Yeah. No, it's good.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah. So, girl, let's say things are stagnant and you're feeling frustrated and you're like, we need to get this going. What's a quick shortcut that you can do to take it to the next level? What are you doing? Paint us a picture. What does it smell like? What does it taste like?
I think there's an invitation to the next level, and it's usually by sharing something vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just an incredible risk. I think about the times when my relationships went to the next level, and it was always from me, right? Because that's, I'm sure they did too, right? But this is my experience. Mm-hmm. When I wanted to do that and I shared something super vulnerable, the payoff was the next step, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The payoff was that you got to the next step.
Yeah, because we always present these amazing versions of ourselves, right? And then as the vulnerability starts, we share the flaws and the challenges and everything. Not you, girl. You're perfect all the time.
I was going to say
everyone else.
Maybe we're just accurately representing ourselves, and if we happen to be amazing, well then, that's none. How amazing I am is none of my business.
So yeah, I think it has to come from you, and you have to kind of take that risk of vulnerability, and it is a real risk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've also had people not show up for that, and then obviously the relationship kind of is out. How about you?
Yeah.
What do you do to take it to the level?
Well, as if the PowerPoint and the campfire weren't enough, I usually I like to. So I think I might have said this on a previous dish. I'm obsessed with this idea of readiness, like the desired outcome. Does the desired outcome have the state of readiness that will support that desired outcome? So if I want to take it to the next level, I'm usually carving out some kind of space and time that is conducive to a conversation. And usually for me, it really is a conversation. Because I don't have moments like you see in the movies where we were kissing in the rain and then a transformer exploded, and just those things don't happen in my life. So it's usually a conversation, not necessarily a very transcendent experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But hey, maybe
All
I
right,
just
so how do you eliminate? What is your step from casual or serious or whatever to nothing?
Oh, just ending it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
No,
I'm not good at that. I have a really hard time letting go because once, and girl, you know me, I am a favorite of the second, third, fourth, fifth chances. You can go.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last dish.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Go check out our second chances episode. But it's really hard for me to disinvest from somebody once I really care about them. So I'll let you when I find out, I'll let you know. But typically, again, for me, I am someone who is very conversation driven. communication is very important to me, but it's also like my primary tool. So it's probably again going to be a very like frank, candid conversation. And so if people can't if they can't show up in that moment and have that conversation on that level, I struggle because it's like, okay, well, mine is not the only approach. I know people do things differently, but if we're not doing that, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah, I really struggle with like the humanity of a ghosting or a silent treatment. I don't see it. I've only done it a few times really. And I've never felt good about it. Well, one situation I was like, well, let's just get real. How's my speed now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. I had this relationship for a long time, and it was a friendship relationship, and it got sexy, and then it didn't. And we moved through that really, really beautifully for a while. And when they said something like really out of line once, that was just so out of line and disrespectful to me and my identity as a queer person, I cut them off. And I just stopped responding. And shouts to like, I just was like disgusted. Yeah. And you look back and you're like, oh, there were red flags leading up to this. So this was the straw that broke the camel's back moment. But shouts to them. They reached out a couple times, and then I got a message that was just like, hey, I'm actually going to wrap this up. Wish you the best, and blah, and you know what I mean. And it was like, but I was too tired of how many times they disappointed me to engage. Yeah, I was too tired. And I didn't realize, because of my lack of self-awareness, till after that I was too tired. So it looked like me doing the silent treatment and the tantrum. And that's what I'll say. For people, especially when you've been in a long-term friendship or relationship or connection, that silent treatment or that ghosting probably isn't about that one thing. Yeah. It's probably been built up over time. Yeah. And I think about that when I've had friends who've done that or relationships. And I'm like, oh yeah, like this, you got to look back and learn the postmortem. Now, now online dating and everything else that people do online, I'm not saying that after 3 dates. Like apparently people just ghost people now. That's why I can't online date. I can't do it. And oh my God, I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, well, you're so privileged, like that you don't have to online date. And I was like, you're right. I meet a lot of people through a lot of the different things I do. You're absolutely right. But oh my God, like I know 3 dates if someone I like ghosted me, I'd have a meltdown. Scorpio season.
It really sucks. Like if you're just talking to someone, if you're just messaging and messages stop happening, that's not ghosting, right? Like that happens all the time.
Right, that's different.
But if you have any kind of emotional investment in somebody, like I try really hard to just not drop people like that. It's not a kind thing to do, and I don't want someone to do it to me. Right. I think all the times.
But that being said, you don't owe anyone a reason.
No, you don't. You don't. Especially if you don't feel safe. Like I was gonna say, the times where things have ended for me when they were in a casual way, were organically we just stopped responding to each other. It just kind of happened on both sides, and that was perfectly fine. We just mutually stopped responding. Great. Right. The other time was when I really felt like I dodged a bullet. Like I didn't feel safe. And then it was just like, you go into self-protection mode and you're like, I gotta get out of here. It's like that Portlandia skit where like, you gotta get out of there. You just gotta get out of there. You gotta get out. That's what my brain was doing to me. And I was just like, I'm out. Like, check please. We're not doing this anymore. And I think that was honestly the best way to go. Because I don't think anything... Once the feeling of not being safe is the most important thing in that moment. So,
yeah, and I think that's a really good reminder of like, you trust your instincts. And I think the one thing I will say, I do not believe in fucking with people's instincts. And here's what I mean. If you are in a relationship or something and you're like, hey, we're going to wrap this up. This is why. And they keep insisting, oh my God, is this why? Is this why? Is this why? You're like, no, it's not you, blah, blah, blah. If they are nailing the reason because they felt it, I think it's really shitty and very bad for people's intuition. Yeah. To be like, no, you're wrong. And I don't know what that is. I'm sure the kids have a name for it. I don't think it's gaslighting. I think it's something else. I don't know. But like,
I think what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a form of entitlement where it's like, okay, there, and let me be clear, I'm going to postulate something for us, Brooke. I would like to postulate that it is okay in moments when someone says that we need to wrap this up. What our natural feelings are hurt, sensitivity, maybe a little gesundheit, maybe a little bit of anger, confusion, that sort of thing. What is not appropriate is being possessive, wanting to know where people are at all times, being vindictive or petty. You know what I mean? Like that's never the move. Just don't do that.
But I think, you know,
I do.
If you are ending something, I think if you're ending something that, my video is so weird. You're ending something and you're like, hey, you know, is there a reason or is there something to grow?
Yeah.
And that person doesn't give you that. I think that's fucking anything. But I hate when people lie to people. I hate when things that drive me crazy. I'm like, you're ending things. Don't make up a reason.
Yeah.
Give a reason, but don't be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I cheated on you for 2 years, but you're like, look at them, and you're like, no, I've just outgrown you. And I'm like, okay.
Is that the reason? Yeah, totally.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't know how I feel about this. Is where we get into dicier waters. I'm not sure that I feel like if we've been together for a month or two and you don't want to give me a reason that we're not together anymore.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like maybe I don't need a reason, but the longer term the relationship has been, I feel like and this is where I don't know if this is like, should I want a reason? Should I feel like I need a reason? But I do. Because when things have been sustained for so long, even if
everybody wants it.
Yeah, even if the reason is, you know what, my feelings have changed and I'm just not into you that way anymore. I'd be like, okay, I'm willing to accept that as a reason.
Yeah.
But for just nothing?
Well, and I think we're humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're humans. We want to, and I don't think that's bad. You know, I think it's just also cutting your losses and taking first. And sometimes you'll know it's just, it's about, you know, drawing a 1-card tarot and taking care of yourself. Girl.
I mean, do you want to? No. Maybe not right now. Maybe not right now, but.
Maybe not right now,
but you know who to
call. So grateful for those of you who joined us on our bi-coastal, and we do mean bi, Happy National Coming Out Day episode of The Dish.
We surely do.
We are here every Tuesday at 7-ish. We do deep dishes every random Thursday or so. Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our YouTube channels. Girl, give us one closing word to take us into the night with your cabin in the woods.
A closing word? Repose.
I'm having 3 words. Don't call him. Don't call him back, girl. Whoever's out there, Joseph and your dad, don't call him.
Don't call him back. Do the HR move. You know what? We'll call you. Don't call us. We'll call you. Actually, wait. It's the opposite of that.
In that you can call us anytime here on Covered Dish.
I'm already confused. Girl, I gotta get back to this cabin. I gotta stoke the fire and settle in for a long snowy evening. So if you'll excuse me, I've gotta go. I've gotta go fire up the jacuzzi.
I have to go hang out with this power base. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye, everyone.